Hey you guys, how have you been? I haven't made a video in a while talking about relationships because I don't want one anymore. You might remember that I was working with a therapist and she kept saying to me, you know, Sharzad, you keep saying you want a relationship, but you don't act like you want one. How do you really feel about it? And when I got honest with myself, I realized that I don't want one. I really don't. So that is where I stand with that now. I started really feeling like I feel good in here, right here, the way I am right now, and there's nothing missing. And I no longer look to something externally to make my life better. Like I feel really whole in here, and that is a tribute to my therapist. um, yeah, there's one more thing I want to share, and as you know, I work with men around coaching them around, their sexuality, working with them around their sexuality, and you know, men who there are men who do not want a woman who is sexually inexperienced or younger. So I want to just dispel a few myths here that we as women are often taught that men want. If you're a woman who wants a man, you may be trying to make yourself into some certain type of woman that a man would want. And whether it's the magazines telling you that you can't have wrinkles, or that you need a lot of makeup, or that you need to be super skinny or have a waist or this or that, or and women doing plastic surgery, Botox, fake hair, and all this stuff, or whether you think that men don't want women who are sexually experienced. So, you try to be the good girl sexually. You're trying to figure out, well, how can I be attractive to the opposite sex? Because men do that too. We try to figure out how to be attractive to the opposite sex. Well, a lot of what we're taught as women about how to be attractive to the opposite sex is bullshit. Okay, I'm 61 and I work with men, and I work with men based on my looks. You don't have to like my looks, not everyone will, and that's okay. But what I'm here to tell you is while there are men who like younger women, there are men in their 50s and 60s who prefer a woman in her 50s or 60s. Successful men, and they prefer no makeup or little makeup. The reason I'm mentioning this, I do not know what percentage of the population of men feel this way. I really don't know, but they exist. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I'm always surprised when I come across men who tell me that I'm beautiful and that they prefer women their own age, and who have girlfriends. When they're dating, they have girlfriends their own age, 50s and 60s, even though they have money and they look good and they could easily get a younger woman, they don't want it. Now, there are men who like younger women, but again, what I'm saying is it's not a true universal truth about all men. So when it comes to sexual experience, the same thing. Some men prefer a woman who has had few partners or zero partners. Some men prefer a woman who is sexually experienced because they want. They're kinky as fuck. And they want someone who's kinky and fun and who doesn't try to repress their sexuality. So I just think that we as women, and I know men have their own version of thinking, what do women want? I think men are sold a myth of, oh, I gotta have all these muscles and I gotta have all this money, and a lot of women don't really want all those muscles, like Rocky or um, who is that guy? The green guy, the Hulk. um, I think they were sold a lot of myths by the magazines and by Hollywood. I think that any person who's just happy and comfortable in their own skin is that's I think the goal. If you're happy and comfortable in your own skin, there are people like you and there is a tribe for you. There isn't a universal, all men like younger women who have a low body count. There is no such thing. There are different tribes, different segments, different preferences, and I keep running more and more into people who have all kinds of kinky preferences. There are people into BDSM. Now, that's an area I've not really explored, but when I talk to different friends or clients who are into the BDSM community, they don't want to date some woman who's got no sexual experience or some guy with no sexual experience. They're out there doing all kinds of stuff that I have even no idea about. There are all kinds of people with all kinds of preferences. And I really think that the whole key is to just find where you are comfortable in your own skin. And that's what I really got out of working with that therapist. That finally, after 10 years of thinking, oh my God, if I just had found the right guy to give me great sex, I would be complete. And I feel complete now, and I don't anymore hold out any hope for this like magical sex that's going to transport me into some magical place. Like, I just don't even look for that anymore, frankly. So that's it. I'm not going to be making videos about relationships anymore. And if you look at my past videos for the past month, I don't think you'll see any videos about me talking about dating or relationships anymore. But I'm still going to be making videos about sex and sexual topics, but more in the terms of who we are as sexual beings, not relationship oriented. I haven't read books about relationships in a long time. I just got really tired of the topic. And I'm really grateful. I'm really happy about that because I finally feel like I'm whole and complete exactly as I am. And yeah, it feels really, really good just to be happy and complete in myself. And that only was possible because of the work I did with the therapist. And it wasn't cheap. But I'm glad that I invested that in myself. Yeah, she was really good. She helped me, feel comfortable with myself. She was very accepting. And we looked at shadow parts, and looking at my shadow parts helped me to, because what were the parts of me that didn't want a man? I had to get honest and just own those parts.